Hi, I'm Myra.
And I'm Tressa. We are fancy marketing people with Union, a Wyoming-based telecommunications company. Yes, Wyoming really does exist. We proudly serve the Rocky Mountain region.
On this podcast, we will feature businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and influential people from Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming.
Our mission is to highlight those who inspire their communities daily.
We believe this makes us truly authentic because a journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step.
Woo! Hey, Tressa. We're back.
Hey, Myra. I know.
It's a 3-a-day today.
It's a day of podcasts.
It is a day of podcast.
Yeah,
And you know what's really neat, though? Today, we've had 2 guests. I mean, spoiler alert for this upcoming session we're about to have here. But yeah, I think it's been really cool. We don't have 2 people often, and it looks like we have, it's just a day of 2s, and I love it.
Yeah, I know. It is rare, but it seems to be the thing. And also 2 guests that are from the Bridger Valley area, right? Our other guests were actually from Lonetree as well. And this family lives in Lonetree as well. So what are the odds of that?
I know. This is the day of Lonetree. Lonetree. Yeah.
We are putting Lonetree on the map, Wyoming.
Yeah, here we go. I love it. That's awesome.
Population 55.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's really interesting, you know, like when you think about like the sub areas and the different places where like you think of Uinta and you think of the Bridger Valley and then the subsets and the cool little small subsets that come from those areas. Mm-hmm. I think it's really neat. And it's cool.
Yeah, like Robertson, Milburn.
Yeah.
You know, Bear River for Evanston. Yeah. Each area kind of has their little outliers. Yeah.
Yeah. Represent.
It's cool.
All the way.
Represent all the way. Well, you know, the rural people like to even be more rural.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the town population of 2,000 is just too much.
I get it. I love it. I think it's kind of like here in a way. There are like little like smaller communities where you've got where I feel really rural and then they feel rural, and I'm looking at a house that's like 20 minutes outside of town, and my nanny is like, "Oh, you're living out in the country," and I'm like, "Oh gosh, you don't." I've heard no. This is population too, you know, like you don't know the country.
Yeah. So she never came to Wyoming.
She has been many times.
Oh, she has.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And but for her, she lives in town, and so she's a city girl. The city, yeah.
The city, yeah.
It was just so cute. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're out in the country," and I'm like, "Not really. This is enough."
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've lived out of town. I mean, barely out of town, but for 20 some years, I don't think I could move back into town.
You were so cute. That's how she feels.
I know.
Like going in town is 2.5 seconds. Yeah. You're like, you can walk to town, to be honest.
I could walk to town. Yeah. I was thinking about that today because I'm like, okay, we just started Union. Every year we do a water walkathon, and that started yesterday. So I was like, oh, maybe I should just start walking to work to get in my steps. Yeah. I mean, I think I could be here in, what do you think, 5 minutes? Probably 10.
10. I'd give it 10.
Probably 10.
Going down your hill. Are you going to go down the hill?
No, Myra. I thought, no, I don't want to walk down my hill. I live on this huge hill. I'm going to drive to the sheriff's office.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to go. You got to get out of the dirt road down the hill and then park.
Yeah, and then I'll park and then I'll walk. Yeah,
yeah, because I'm like, you're walking back up that thing. I'd like to see it.
Back up that hill.
I'll have the drone follow you. I'd like to. We'll have it for the next episode. Tressa walks to work, and the drone just follows you all the way, watching you go up the hill. You'd have to use like an ice pick, you know.
I walk up the hill all the time. It's not that bad.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited. I know we gave away that the family's from Lonetree. We've got 2 guests. But today on the podcast, we have the owners of Beck Ranch, Annalisa Beck and Dana Beck.
Hi, guys.
Welcome,
Hi.
guys.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. We're excited to have you on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you
for
want to
joining.
just, yeah, do you want to like start out telling us a little bit of the history of your ranch and how it started? And
Oh gosh, well, we've been here. We bought the ranch about 9 years ago, and we moved up from Utah, and we bought the ranch. It's an old historic ranch, been around for over 100 years. The
wow.
home we live in's over 100 years old, and a lot different from where we came from, but. The idea when we first moved up here was just to kind of ease into retirement and out of the hustle and bustle of our professional careers, and we tried that for a while and hated every second of it. And so
We don't sit still very
we didn't
You didn't
we
like
didn't-
that.
we didn't
I love
last
it.
very long that way. It just didn't fit us. But I tell you, we just love Lonetree. I mean, we could not have picked a more perfect place. I mean, we're surrounded by just terrific people,
Yeah.
a lot of history, beautiful place, a beautiful ranch. Don't know how we got so lucky. We still to this day step outside every morning and can't believe our luck, and just couldn't have worked out better. So.
Well, and it's nice because now we have 2 of our 6 kids living on the ranch with us, and they're able to
wow.
participate. One works full time, and the others just, hop in when they can. Our daughter helps with social media. Our son-in-law will come help when we're branding or doing big things, and our granddaughter has learned how to ride a horse, and she's now trying to take over Grandpa's horse. So it's just been nice. It's just been a good move for our family. Yeah, it's been a good place.
She lets me borrow my horse once in a while.
yeah, I was going to say
On
it's already
occasion.
taken over.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She's going to
So-
win that one.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about, like, obviously Beck Ranch is a ranch, but you guys are way more than that. Can you talk about some of the products and services and what the ranch produces, and a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have kind of 2 different arms of the ranch. Dana and the guys, there's the ranch, there's the cows, there's the irrigation, the hay, all of that stuff that goes along with the ranch. And we chose to not sell our calves when they were babies, which is kind of the traditional way to operate a ranch. It just wasn't working out for us. So we chose to hold our calves until they're almost between 2 and 3 years old, and then we sell them as beef.
Oh,
So we, Dana grows them. They're all naturally grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotics, no hormones. Then they're taken to the slaughterhouse, and we bring them back here, and we ship them out all over the country. So that's our main product, is the beef.
okay. Okay.
But as you can kind of see behind us, we have a little store here in Lonetree, which is frequented by the neighbors mostly for the ice cream. But everything that we have in here is local. So we offer, Shumway ice cream. We offer black gold jelly out of Rock Springs. We offer Monster Buck coffee out of Rock Springs. All of our T-shirts are made by a lady in Mountain View. All of our hats are made by our son-in-law down in Utah. Everything that we have here is local.
Oh, wow. That's
cool.
amazing.
I'm disappointed. I had no idea that you guys existed until Tressa
come on
told me
out.
about you. I know. Well, now I'm going to be in town in a couple weeks, and I'm putting it on my list of things that either Tressa has to drive me or I'm taking the Union car to see, because I'll be
Yeah,
sure.
it's
Take a
fun
field
here, you
trip
can't
out
miss
there.
us.
Honestly, it surprises me too when people come here. I mean, I never in a million years thought people would come this far, but we're starting to get a lot of traffic out here at the ranch now, and people are driving as far as from southern Utah to come up here. I
Wow.
just got off the phone with a lady from Denver who's wanting to come out here and see us, and so nobody's more surprised, I don't think, than we are that people will want to come out here and do this, but they do. And when we first came up here, we hosted a thing with the local FFA, the high school down here. They had a sheepdog trial that was one of the prerequisites. You had to kind of do that if you wanted to go to the international contest in Ireland and or Scotland. I can't even remember which now, but anyway, that ended up bringing a lot of people from all over the United States to here, and we'd have about 400 people that would come out to that every year.
Goodness.
And we did that for several years, and boy, I'll tell you, we thought we had a lot of friends when we lived in the city, you know, down in Alpine in Utah, but it's a lot different now. Now we've got friends from all over the United States. People just kind of come out of the woodwork, and luckily we've got, as being as far out as we are, we do have some facilities here where they can come and stay, and they get used constantly. And so it's like I said, it just was kind of mostly here. We've remodeled and built some new things since we've been here, but it's just been a kind of an eye-opener for us. We didn't think it would amount to what it has.
We had our Beck Ranch days, our customer appreciation days on Saturday, and we were having a bet between each other. Dana thought that there would be 7 people, and I was planning on, you know, over 100, and we did. We had over 100 people show up and come have a hamburger and see the ranch, and our granddaughters set up a little petting zoo with their pony and the cows. I mean, it was just fun, and people had a good time and played cornhole and had lunch and visited with each other, and it was really fun to see everybody who likes the product, likes to support the lifestyle, even though they don't live it, they like to support it, and they like to buy local and to support the local ranchers. It's so fun to see that.
Yeah, I love that.
We still kind of ranch the old-fashioned way. It's horseback all the time, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but you know, every day we saddle up and we irrigate on horseback. We move our cattle on horseback, and
except for me,
in this,
I drive a side-by-side.
yeah, she's yeah.
I'm too old.
There's one holdout. There's one
You
holdout
can take
still.
the girl out of the city, but
But what surprises me is how intrigued people are nowadays that that's still a thing, and you know, they pull in and there'll be 5 or 6 horses saddled, tied up here, and I don't know if they think it's some sort of, you know, we do it for show or what, but we don't. It's just how we operate here, and so I think that's a lot of the draw to it. For instance, the lady I was just on the phone to that's coming out from Denver, who was surprised that's, you know, she wanted to know about the ranch and how we do things, and I think that's a lot of the draw to it, is they're surprised that it's still kind of done the old-fashioned way, and so.
yeah, that's amazing.
It is,
And-
and oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Myra. Oh, go.
I was just going to say, you know, you're actually like the second person I've heard say that, but not because I know a lot of ranchers, because I don't. But it's really cool because the pride that you take in running your ranch that way, and I can hear that and see that. And when I've spoke with, I don't even remember who it is, that's the bad part, but they felt the same kind of pride, you know, and they were very proud of being in the true tradition of how they run their ranch. And I think that's super incredible. But I wanted to ask, how do you feel that Beck Ranch has impacted the community, you know, Lonetree and the surrounding areas?
Currently, so we've only been selling beef a year and a half online. So, you know, we've been able to have neighbors, you know, put their stuff in. We buy eggs from one of our neighbors. We, you know, try to help out as much as we can that way with putting their products in our store. But I think also it helps give a sense of community. they can come, they can get yogurt. There's a place to mingle and to congregate. But I don't know. We started doing a calf table, 5 years ago. So we brand with a calf table. We keep a very small operation, because that's what we have. We don't have a lot of family around us. We don't have a lot of kids. It's just, Dana, I, her son, and one other guy. So we have to use the resources that we have. So we started branding with a calf table, and we were total pariahs for an entire year because of it, because it's not traditional. It's what we have. It's what we needed to use.
Do you know what a calf table is?
No, and I bet no one else does.
Me
I'm
too.
just kidding. There's going to be like a little cute group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this
group.
little table where calf lays. I
I
don't
know.
know.
I'm thinking. I'm like, dang.
Well, yeah. So here you go. So typically, if you've watched the old westerns, it's time to brand calves, the cowboys get on their horses and they ride out into the herd and they rope a calf and they drag it to the fire and they brand the calf and that kind of thing. Well, we don't have enough of us here to be able to do that, and we've gone and helped a lot of the neighbors and done that kind of thing, and we're terrible at asking for help, and so we had figured we'd have to figure out a better way to do it where we could do it ourselves. So they make a thing called a calf table where you bring the calves in a big pan and you just run them through the alleyway and onto this table, and it lays the calf over on its side, and you're able to, it kind of restrains them, and you're able to just brand the calf, and you're able to do that kind of work with 2 or 3 people instead of 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and did that, and I remember the first day that we used it, and the local brand inspector happened to just pull in to where we were, and our table is in our building where we do all of our work with our animals, and he pulled up and he looked through the door, and I saw him go straight to his phone, and he started to text, and he posted Facebook or somewhere,
Yeah, Facebook.
hell has frozen over in Lonetree.
Oh.
Because I'm sure it was the first time. And, for a calf table to be used in Lonetree, hell must have froze over. And that's kind of how it was with us. And so
I think our biggest impact on the valley is we think outside the box because we have to, and it is allowing other people to think outside the box. I think that has been our biggest impact with.
Well, I think they do anyway. I mean, we live with a pretty progressive bunch here, but I know when we first started to hold our calves and finish them ourselves and, market them ourselves online and that kind of thing, that's a completely different way than everybody pretty much does things. And I know I had some really interesting conversations with neighbors about that at the beginning, and I don't think there was not a lot of hope for us at the beginning. I think there's a little more hope now, hopefully, and we've been happy with the progress of it, and it is working, and it has worked out, and so that more than anything, I think we're just doing it a little different, maybe than it's been done in the past. Doesn't mean we're doing it better or that it's any more right. It's just different.
But it allows other people to think differently as well, and not just do it the same way,
I like that point of view. Instead of being like, oh, why am I, you are honest with yourselves, hey, I want to do this. I love this lifestyle, but I can't do this a certain way because we don't have the people. We're doing it a little different. And I love your positive point of view about it, instead of trying to go back to what you think you should be doing. I love it. I think that's great. I think it's awesome, and that you are using your ranch and what you're doing and how you're growing in the business to move into a way that's outside of the box and progressiveness, in case somebody else is interested and they're like, I've always wanted to do this, but I can't do it because I feel like, oh, I don't have the people or the resources. So I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
There's a few other reasons for it too. I mean, I would imagine that you've noticed there's starting to become a lot of restrictions on our food supply. You know, we saw that during COVID where things shut down, the prices are going through the roof, those kinds of things. You know, the meat business is controlled basically by a handful of packers that literally control 98% of the meat supply, and not only beef but pork and chicken too. And you know, we just didn't really want to be constrained by that. We're trying to move away from anything like that would hold us back. And you know, we've had a lot of people call and want to know what we're doing different, and I don't know how they hear about us, but they do. And we are just really happy to tell other people, and it's been really fun to watch other people try it. And I think as we go along that it's going to become more and more important as these controls start to choke us down.
Yeah.
For this new way we're doing things to kind of open it all back up again, you know. And so people are able to just go direct to a rancher instead of having to, you know, go through the usual supply chain for food. And that was the first thing, conversation with this woman from Denver today was, she said, I'm just watching the price go through the roof on meat. What can I do that can stabilize that? And I said, well, first thing you can do is find you a rancher close to you that you know, you can buy from direct, and then you're not subject to those kind of constraints. And so, you know, and she had already thought that through and thought the same thing and just wondered what my take on it was. But every time I get a phone call like that, and it's more and more common all the time, I'm amazed at how people are starting to think a little bit more along those lines.
Well, and another thing that they're thinking of is what goes into their food. I think people are starting to recognize, you know, you can't just grab a box of crackers off the shelf and call it healthy. And people are very conscious now about what goes into their food, how it's made. You know, the organic movement, I think, started that, and then it just has kept going. And a lot of people like the grass-fed. A lot of people like the no grains, no hormones, no antibiotics. You know, the taste is different, and you can taste the difference. We had a guy this morning text us and say, you know, he's in Texas and he buys grass-fed meat in Texas, and he said, I don't know how to explain it, but I think I taste Wyoming in your beef. You know, because the grass profile is different, the altitude is different, that everything is different, and so you can taste where it comes from. And you can taste that it's healthy. I mean, if you're going to sit your child on the couch and give them a box of cookies, it's not going to be a healthy child. It's the same thing with a cow. If you're going to confine them in a feedlot and feed it full of grain, you're not going to have a healthy cow, and you're not going to have healthy meat. And I think people are very conscious and worried about what they're putting into their bodies and on their family's table.
Yeah, I mean, that's what drew me. I actually ordered from you. I found you through that same kind of conversation with a friend, right? Like, how do I find more healthy protein, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking for beef specifically. I was looking for chicken, which led me to you. And then the yogurt, finding out that I could get that was, you know, from a local, I think that's from Star Valley.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other cool thing you do that I really want the viewers to hear is, like, in the surrounding areas is I can order and then you bring it to me at, like, the grocery store here. I just can run down, grab my order from you, and take it home. And I think you deliver to Mountain View, Evanston, and Rock Springs. Is that correct?
We do. So every Wednesday, we have two different routes, and one is the Valley in Evanston, and one is Rock Springs in Green River. So we have meeting points so that people can pick up for free if they don't want to pay for home delivery, or we can bring it to your home for an extra fee. We also ship UPS all over the country. We ship out every Monday, so it gets there on Wednesday. And people really enjoy it. And we have a program where, because we have to buy insulated liners to keep our boxes cold inside and the product frozen. So we have a program where they can put a book inside their box and mail it back to us using media rate through the Postal Service. And that way we can recycle the liner and reuse it again, which is helpful for us. And then we give them a free pound of ground beef on their next order.
Oh, that's really cool.
Wow, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, you guys are innovative. I love you. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I'm like, all right, well, now that I've relocated, all right, Beck Ranch, because I used to buy a cow, or I would split a beef or a cow, or whatever the correct phrase is, and then
That's right. Yep.
yeah, so I would split it, and that's how I always had. And I mean, I haven't bought any beef in a grocery store in years, and now that I've relocated, I don't know how many. I'm sure. Well, there's a person. Oh gosh, Madison Bumgarner, who was the pitcher for the Giants. He has a Wagyu farm. So unless I want to go get Wagyu only, I don't know about that. But yeah. So this is great. That's really neat. It's really neat, and I think that the reason that I started buying my own beef and splitting a cow is because, one, the cost of beef is outrageous, and two, the health of it. I know what's going on, and when you have something like that available to you to get more natural, this is the way of the world right now. People are seeking that out. They want that, and so what you're doing, I think, you're impacting locally, but you're also making a difference across the nation that you can ship to, and the program that's super innovative. To recycle. I mean, you guys are doing all the things. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
That is well, and like Tressa said, we have chicken and pork that we have found from a supplier down in Salt Lake, and he gets those from organic farms. So we feel like the way that they're raised kind of correlates with how we raise our cows, and so we're glad that we can serve that product as well, and not just. And we have a lot of people. We have a lady in Star, Idaho, and her husband is a butcher at Costco, and she will only eat our meat. Wow. and he tells all of his Costco clients to go to beckranch.com and buy it there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. We love it.
I'll tell you, one of the most exciting things that's coming up now, though, is the weak link that we've had is because we ship out of state. The way the law reads is that any meat shipped outside of a state has to be USDA inspected. Well, the biggest problem that we have are there are no plants around here that are USDA inspected plants. There's lots of state plants, there's lots of uninspected plants, but no USDA plants. So for the last 2.5 years, we've been in the slow bureaucratic process of permitting our own plant right here at the ranch. And this past week, we've just got our permits to build our own USDA processing plant right here at the ranch. So there's the news of the day. We haven't spread that out much, but we just got that this past week, and we're just in the process right now of tearing fences down and getting ready to break ground and build our own plant right here. So our cattle will be born right here, they will be finished right here, and they will be processed right here and never ever leave the ranch. And we'll also open that up to the other local neighbors and other people who want to do the same thing that we're doing. It'll give them here in Southwest Wyoming a USDA plant that they can process. Currently, we're having to go clear into Utah, and it creates a 14-hour day every time, and so hopefully we'll be able to help a lot of people out with that.
So more industry, construction on his side and accounting on my side. So that's our specialty.
So Dana, with that plant coming in, will that bring in jobs? What does it take to run a plant like that?
Yeah,
it does.
It does. It will. And that, there was a couple of reasons we wanted to do that. We wanted to open up some jobs for some of our other children, if they wanted to come up and their families to be involved here on the ranch. But also, I mean, there's not a lot of jobs in Lonetree, and you know, we'll become instantly the largest employer in the valley when we hire 2 people. You know what I mean?
Will. Yes, you will.
It's not like we're gonna change the economics of Wyoming a lot, but yes, it will help. It will help, and it'll open up some jobs. And I would assume that would grow as time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
might.
yeah.
You might be
You know,
changing the
like-
impact.
Yeah, 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
When we're at
Yeah,
top capacity.
initially it'll start out with 6 or 7 people,
Yeah.
and then go from there. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll help.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, this has been awesome to hear
Yeah.
all this, and I've learned a lot today. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us today and
Thank you for having
tell
us
us
on.
your story. Yeah. There's always one last question we ask all of our guests, and that's, how do you stay authentic?
Oh, for me, it's just realizing sometimes I'm not as cool as I think I am. I'm just, I'm just me. Just be me, and don't get too big for my britches. I don't know about Dana.
Well, I know I'm not cool, so that's an easy one for me. Staying authentic in my case, I mean, you know, we split the duties on this ranch. I raise the beef and she sells them. And so you're going to hear a lot more from Annalisa over the upcoming time than you ever will from me, which suits me just fine. And I'll just continue to saddle that horse and irrigate on horseback.
Yeah. Waking up at midnight calving in the dead of winter kind of keeps you humble. So it's going to be easy to
That's
stay
so
authentic where we are.
That is absolutely true. Well,
Yeah.
you've got 2 fans here from
Yeah.
Tessa and Myra. I mean, some of the stuff that you've done and the innovation is pretty cool to hear about. So
Absolutely.
we think
Thank
it's
you.
pretty cool.
We think you're really cool. I do. I said I love you, so I don't even say that. You know, we're just on our first date. You know, and I'm like, I think you're great.
Thank you. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. We appreciate it.
It was
You're
fun.
welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, until next time.
Stay
Thanks.
authentic.